Hey, what's up today, YouTube? Today we're going to be installing a 72-inch KFI Pro-Poly plow on the front of my 2017 Polaris General. Plow number 105872. Push tubes 10-5635-WPS. And the general mounting plate 105930. On the right side is the mounting plate, goes on the bottom of the general, and then the mounting bracket attaches to the plate. First thing we're going to do is remove these lower A-arm bolts on the front side. Replace them with these longer ones feeding from the back so the threads are on the front side. 15 millimeter to get those off. So we got the new bolts in and went to hold the bracket up, and the tabs on the bracket were not allowing it to go up because it was actually hitting right here on both sides. So I took my hacksaw and just kind of trimmed it a little bit, and then the hammer bent it just slightly, and now it slides up real easy. Next thing we'll do is we'll take the supplied rear bracket anchor and we'll put it up in the hole, and then we'll put the bracket on. Now that we have this hand tightened up here, we will tighten down the A-arm bolts. That'll be 15 millimeter on the nut, 17 millimeter on the bolt side, and then 15 millimeter on the back two bolts. All right, now that we have the mounting plate attached to the unit, we will go ahead and attach the plow bracket with the remaining 6 bolts with the lock washers and flat washers to the plate. All right, so something to note here, I could not attach the plow mount to the ATV mount side with it up on jack stands, because my Super ATV high clearance arms actually, when they're at full down, hit the plow bracket. So I took it down, I put the mount on, and then I jacked it back up, and it does not, when at the point where it actually hits, it actually does not let my limit strap come fully tight. It's snug, but it's not to the point where you're at the limit. For me, I'm going to go ahead and use it like this. I don't think it's going to be a problem. Because I do sit higher with the General, with the setup that's on it. I'm actually getting the 4-inch brackets for my mounting tubes to be able to keep my plow at the correct angle. So we'll go ahead and leave her as is, and if there's anything, if it causes any problems, then I guess I'll put an update later. All right, we got the plow blade out of the package and the hardware all set out. We'll go ahead and attach the shoe brackets. Those will take 14 millimeter wrenches. And then the shoe with the hardware, I recommend 1 washer, 2 spacers, 5 washers below, and then 3 washers above. The plow marker attaches with 13 millimeter, and then the snow flap, it is beveled, and they recommend the bevel go up, and that will attach with 11 millimeter wrench. We'll get this on, and then we'll get to the push tubes. Okay, so we got the snow flap, the markers, and the shoes mounted. Time to put on the push tube. I have the other side already kind of snugged up, but for the anchor point there, you can take and mount the bolt from the back side. The bevel faces in so that the flat side is against the washer. It's a 24mm nut. For the pivot stop here, the default is a top middle, and that's a 3/8 Allen and a 5/8 socket on the nut. And then we have the eye bolt for the spring, and that is going to be a 13mm on that. This side here you can see I already got on. I'm going to wait to put the winch mount on. It says that it can either go mount up this way, you can mount it here, or it can mount up here, depending on your application. I'm going to wait to put that on to see how it actually looks, or what's going to be the best location when I get it on the unit. As soon as I get this snugged up, we'll be ready to mount it. All right, so just a helpful hint: do not put the stop in until after you have the springs attached. That's the best way to do it. Attach it at the bottom from the inside out, and then you'll be able to easily pull the blade back to put both springs on. The next step is a little easier. You can do it by yourself, but it's easier if you have an extra set of hands, where you stand on the tubes and push the blade forward, causing tension on the springs to be able to put those stops back in and tighten them up. Again, you can do it by yourself. It's a little easier with an extra set of hands actually pulling the blade forward, so you can have two hands for the Allen wrench and the ratchet to tighten up the stops. But we got it on. Now we're going to take and mount it to the unit, and then we'll figure out where we need to put our mount for the winch to attach to, that'll cause the least amount of strain on the cable, and the best way to do that. Just kind of looking at it and where it's going to need to be, I think we'll end up taking these front two bolts out of the plate there and mounting it there, just to give us a little better angle on the winch. But we'll get it attached, and then we'll come back and see what it looks like. All right, so after attaching the mount up to the front, I've reconsidered, and I'm going to end up putting it in the default location down here, just because right now I've got it to where it's about as much lift as it's going to get, and I don't want to cause undue strain on that point and possibly bend it. So I'll be able to get more of a lift off of the blade later on. I'm going to do that here in a minute. And then eventually here next week, I've got extended brackets that are going to mount here to be able to lower the back of the push tubes down, so I don't have so much of an angle on my blade. But as it sits, that's as high as it'll go right now. So I'll go ahead and get that swapped over, and then we'll see what it looks like. All right, after moving that mounting bracket back to the middle position, I think it's a much better attachment point there. So here we are with the blade on the ground. And we'll go ahead and it gives us and it can still come up a little bit more. It gives us pretty good clearance off the ground. Overall, real nice plow that I can see. Build quality is real nice. Just pull up on the thing and pin to rotate the blade. Ooh. Yeah, we'll have to be careful on that with having the 1.5 inch forward arching super UTV arms. It puts those front wheels out there, and plus I'm running 32s. Overall real nice.